In this section, we shall look at recursive functions. Recursive functions are a class of functions that call on the same function over and over again. So what does this mean? Let's look at an example. You're drinking a coffee. In your coffee, you definitely will take a sip, you put it down on the table, for example, and take another sip, and keep on repeating until your coffee is done. Programs kind of help us be lazier than that. They'll do the repetition themselves. I'm going to define a function of factorial. In the show notes, we'll probably link to the definitions. But the definition of a factorial is it is a result that occurs after multiplying something by itself and values less than it by 1 until it reaches 0. So for example, mathematically we use the exclamation point to depict that this is a factorial. So assume that's a factorial. So what will happen is you'll have 3 multiplied by 2 factorial. This is transformed into 3 multiplied by 2 factorial multiplied by 1 factorial, which in turn gets defined as 3 by 2 by 1 factorial by 0 factorial. And 0 is our determining number. It's where we kind of end. It's our base point. So this generally will be translated into 2 by 2 by 1 by 1. Every time we encounter a 0 factorial, the value is 1. Okay? Now, in code, we'll write this as something like diff factorial, and then we'll open parentheses and provide an arbitrary argument. Let's call it n this time. And the first step is to test to see if n is 0, and every time it is 0, you return a value of 1. Otherwise, you will return n multiplied, remember our 2 factorial from up here? Okay, now this time it's going to be factorial n minus 1. Notice where I'm highlighting? So we have our factorial with the value less by 1. Okay, so when we enter that twice and we try to test it on our prompt, we will get the value 6. I'm getting a bunch of errors, so let's see. Okay, so the error here, and you'll get this all the time, so I'm going to quickly repeat it, is I forgot to put a return statement. Return statements are important in Python. So this should make it run. So factorial of 3 is 6. Okay, awesome. See the show notes for more of this.